Hello, welcome everyone. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the emotions or pressures of everyday life? Here on the channel we will find inner peace even in times of turbulence. You will learn to turn challenges into opportunities, cultivate resilience, and live in a more full and conscious way through Stoic concepts. We apply these teachings to real life, sharing experiences, practical tips, and reflections that can help you connect better with yourself and the world around you. Join us on this journey of self-knowledge and personal growth. Sign up and be part of this community that seeks to live with purpose and clarity. One of the areas where the ego manifests itself the most is in our relationships with others. How many times have you caught yourself in an argument where the main goal was not to understand the other, but to prove you right? Or how many times have you stopped asking for help because you didn't want to appear weak or incapable? The ego takes us away from genuine connection with people. It creates barriers, fuels rivalries, and prevents us from building healthy relationships. And this goes totally against one of the pillars of Stoicism, the idea that we are part of a greater whole, that we are all connected. Marcus Aurelius used to reflect on this. He said, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." In other words, when we act out of ego, we are not only harming ourselves, but we are also harming those around us. And here's a question for you to reflect on. How has the ego impacted your relationships? Can you identify times when he distanced you from someone or created unnecessary conflicts? Share in the comments. Let's exchange experiences. Many people associate humility with weakness, but the truth is that it is one of the greatest sources of strength we can have. Being humble means recognizing that we don't have all the answers, that we can make mistakes, and that we need others. And that takes courage. Imagine the following situation. You are in a work meeting and someone presents an idea that you had not thought of. The ego can lead you to ignore or even belittle this idea, just to maintain a know-it-all image. Humility, on the other hand, allows you to say, "This is a great idea. I hadn't thought of it." Let's explore more. Which of these attitudes do you think generates the most respect and admiration? Humility not only makes us more approachable, but it also helps us grow because it keeps us open to learning. And here's a challenge for you. The next time someone gives you feedback or a suggestion, try to listen without defending yourself. Even if you don't agree, think and reflect on what was said. You will be surprised at how much it can transform your relationships. Another way the ego limits us is through fear of failure. How many times have you stopped trying something new because you were afraid of making mistakes and being judged? The ego makes us believe that failure is a threat to our image, but the truth is that it is an essential part of growth. The Stoics teach us that failure is not something to be feared, but rather a learning opportunity. Seneca said, "The man who suffers before he is needed, suffers more than necessary." In other words, the suffering we create in our mind, for fear of failure, is often greater than the failure itself. And here's a powerful reflection. What did you stop doing for fear of what others would think? Is this fear preventing you from achieving your dreams? Remember, the ego can keep you in the comfort zone, but it's humility that drives you forward, because it allows you to recognize that making mistakes is part of the process. Now that we've talked about the challenges of the ego and the importance of humility, let's bring this into practice. How can we cultivate humility in our daily lives? Here are some suggestions. 1. Practice active listening when someone is speaking. Listen carefully, without interrupting or thinking about what you're going to say next. 2. Recognize your limitations. Don't be afraid to say I don't know or need help. That doesn't make you smaller, it makes you real. 3. Celebrate the achievements of others. Learn to genuinely rejoice in the success of others, without comparing it to your own. 4. Reflect on your actions at the end of the day. Ask yourself today, did I act out of ego or humility? And here's a practical exercise for you. Write down 3 recent situations where the ego may have taken over. Then reflect on how you could have acted more humbly. Share your reflections in the comments. Let's learn together. At the end of the day, taming the ego and embracing humility is not just about improving our relationships or achieving our goals. It's about finding inner peace. When we stop seeking external approval and start acting in accordance with our values, we free ourselves from a great burden. Epictetus reminds us, happiness does not consist in acquiring and enjoying, but in desiring nothing, for it consists in being free. And humility is one of the keys to this freedom. It allows us to live with more lightness, more authenticity, and more connection with what really matters. And so we end this content, but not without first leaving an invitation for you. If you want to live a life that is more in line with Stoic principles, start practicing humility today. Remember, the ego can be an obstacle, but you have the power to choose not to let it dominate you. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stoic philosophy has a lot to teach us, and I want to continue this journey with you. Leave in the comments how you have been working to tame the ego and cultivate humility. Let's build a strong community, united by the search for self-knowledge and personal growth.